Good morning, everyone. I'll call this meeting of Planning Economic Development Committee for Tuesday, June 6th to order. We'll start off with the electronic roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Okay. Any declarations of interest? Seeing none. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting from May 2nd, 2023, moved by Councillor Pickles, seconded by Mayor Watton? Any comments, questions, or otherwise? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. There are no statutory public meetings. Our first item is a presentation by Lori Talling, Sport Tourism Project Specialist, about the Durham Region 2023 Ontario Passport Games, and Lori is online. I think. Here we go. Good morning, Lori.
You just have to turn on your microphone.
No, still can't hear you.
So your microphone is gray if it is on, and it is red if it is off. So there's a request to speak and the microphone button. We still can't hear you.
Yeah.
Do you have a headset or anything connected right now? She is on there. So on the very bottom, it should be green, and it looks like a face with something coming out of it. Oh, I see you're connecting headphones now. Then there's a camera button and then a microphone button. So just ensure that the microphone button is gray.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next presentation, Lori, and then maybe Roger can give you a call or see if we can sort it out. Okay, thank you. So the next presentation is Dan Ruby, Manager, Business Development and Investment, re the 2022 and Q1 2023 Commercial and Industrial Development in Durham Region. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. Good morning, Planning and Economic Development Committee. My name's Dan Ruby, and I'm the Manager of Business Development and Investment at Invest Durham. We've submitted report number 2023 EDT 9 for your information. And for full details on the investments, please refer to this committee report that you received in your package. For our presentation, we'd like to show you the following video that highlights investments in Durham Region in 2022 and the first quarter of 2023. Are there any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So next is Gary Mueller, Director of Planning, Durham Region's response to provincial consultation on Bill 97. Morning, Gary.
Morning, Chair Chapman. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Chair and members of committee. Today's presentation and report that's before committee presents staff's commentary on a further round of proposed changes to the provincial planning system. Together, Bill 97 and the new PPS represent another major shift in the land use planning regime in Ontario. Next slide, please. So on April 6th, the provincial government started its consultation on Bill 97, known as the Helping Homeowners Protecting Tenants Act, which proposes changes to various pieces of legislation, including the Planning Act. As well, the province started its consultation on a proposed provincial planning statement, which would amend the existing provincial policy statement and eliminate the existing growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, with some elements from the growth plan rolled into the new PPS. A 30-day consultation window was given for Bill 97, which closed on May 6th, and the deadline for comments on the new PPS was originally set for June 5th, but was recently extended to August the 4th. It's expected that the new PPS could come into force in the fall of 2023. Next slide, please. So just by way of brief policy context, the existing PPS and the existing growth plan are different but related provincial planning policy documents that guide growth and development. The provincial policy statement is a policy statement issued under Section 3 of the Planning Act that came into effect in 1997 and has been updated several times, most recently in 2020. It applies province-wide and sets the policy foundation for regulating the development and use of land, and it sets an overall framework that focuses growth and development within urban and rural settlement areas and promotes efficient development patterns and the wise use of resources, along with providing provincial policies to provide protection from natural and human-made hazards. And on the other hand, the growth plan, A Place to Grow, the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, is a provincial plan that was issued under the Places to Grow Act that came into effect in 2006 and has been updated several times, most recently in 2020. It provides a framework for how and where growth will occur in a Greater Golden Horseshoe and includes population and employment forecasts to 2051, intensification targets, and density targets that municipalities in the GGH are required to plan for. It also provides policies pertaining to infrastructure to support growth, as well as environment, conservation, and climate change policies. Next slide, please. So Bill 97 proposes changes to various pieces of legislation, including the Planning Act, and includes housekeeping amendments to support the implementation of Bill 23. It provides a 6-month extension to fee refund provisions on zoning bylaw and site plan application fees for municipalities that fail to meet the statutory decision timelines. It would set up a regulation-making authority for site plan control for 10 or less residential units. Bill 97 would make changes to rules surrounding appeals of interim control bylaws, allowing an individual to appeal the passage of an interim control bylaw at the initial time of passing rather than only at the time of an extension. Bill 97 would set up a new authority for minister's zoning orders, giving the minister the authority to exempt MZOs from certain subsequent approvals to align with provincial plans and policies. And on this front, staff are recommending that the province provide additional clarity on what policies it seeks to be exempt from when issuing MZOs. Bill 97 would set up a ministerial authority to require landowners to enter into development agreements in relation to lands that have been assigned to the Provincial Land and Development Facilitator, and it makes changes to support the review of provincial policies and regulation-making authorities for a new provincial policy document, and the proposal would narrow the definition of an area of employment to include only traditional industry, warehousing, and other employment uses that cannot be located near sensitive uses. Next slide, please. The proposed provincial planning statement is expected to be finalized in the fall of 2023, and the proposed PPS would relax policies and consolidate the current PPS and the current growth plan. It would repeal the growth plan and eliminate population and employment forecasts, intensification targets, and density targets within strategic growth areas, like downtowns, centers, and corridors, but would keep them in place for major transit station areas. The proposed PPS would establish a new set of policies for the 29 large and fast-growing municipalities, including Durham's lakeshore municipalities, including Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, and Clarington. And as noted in the report, the proposed PPS would relax requirements for settlement area boundary extensions, would increase permissions for rural residential development, and make changes to the policy framework for employment areas. As noted in the report as well, proposed natural heritage policies and definitions are still under review by the province, and its absence is a concern. The current provincial requirement that municipalities undertake municipal comprehensive reviews of official plans does not form part of the 2023 PPS. So going forward, settlement area boundary expansions and employment area conversions would be dealt with on a case-by-case basis as privately initiated amendments to official plans, which was the case taken prior to the introduction of the growth plan back in 2006. So from an economic development and servicing perspective, employment areas would be identified as areas set aside principally for manufacturing, warehousing, and goods movement. Major office, retail, and other population-serving uses would be excluded from these more focused employment areas, and employment areas would still be protected and preserved, but conversions would be allowed outside of a municipal comprehensive review process. Next slide, please. So the report includes a series of comments on the proposed draft PPS, while attachment 1 includes comments on Bill 97. Some of the comments within the report include the following. So in general, the changes would make long-term growth, servicing, and infrastructure planning more challenging, and in response, staff have recommended that the PPS require municipalities to develop population and employment forecasts to a common time horizon based on a standardized methodology. This will reduce the amount of time and technical debate on forecasting methodology so that focused effort can be spent on the outputs of determining servicing and infrastructure needs and how can they be phased and costed in a coordinated way. As well, staff are recommending that settlement area boundary expansions be dealt with based on need and in a systematic way, and the municipal comprehensive review is an appropriate way to understand the overall effects of urban expansion and how we plan for long-term servicing and infrastructure in a coordinated fashion. Staff are of the view that intensification targets do have an important role to optimize services and infrastructure, help address climate change, develop more efficiently, and support the ongoing health of our communities. The recommendations speak to supporting intensification targets within municipal official plans. Absent in the materials is how the important issue of providing additional affordable housing is directly addressed. So staff have recommended that the province define and establish clear policies on how needed affordable housing and attainable housing would be achieved. And the recommendations in the report speak to upholding agricultural systems, discouraging lot creation in prime agricultural areas, and allowing only limited locally appropriate lot creation on rural lands. The fragmentation of the agricultural land base would be disruptive to the viability of the agricultural sector. So on this front, and based on the concerns that have been raised by the agricultural community, the government is no longer proceeding with the changes that would allow for 3 severed lots on agricultural lands, and I think this item may be spoken to in item 9.2 on the agenda as well. In order to assist with the review of the overall effect of the revised PPS, staff have recommended that the release of natural heritage policies and definitions, which don't form part of the current document, be released for review and comment as well. So as noted in the report, staff have also recommended and proposed that the proposed expansions to ministerial authority for MZOs be reconsidered and that the narrowing of scope of employment areas be revisited following consultation with the affected municipalities. Next slide, please. So with Envision Durham being adopted by Council and delivered to the province now for its review, the implications of the proposed new PPS aren't clear, but the new regional official plan does take its direction from the existing PPS and the growth plan. Land needs have been informed by the growth plan's population and employment forecast to 2051, and analysis was prepared using a standard and clear methodology involving intensification and density targets and feasibility criteria. So through Council's approval of the new regional official plan, it was requested that the province approve the new plan prior to bringing the new PPS into effect or establish an appropriate transition regulation. Forecast targets forecasts and targets are one of the foundations of the region's new official plan and should form the basis of how and where growth occurs. So if we were to start the new OP review process under the new PPS, the process would be unclear and the final product would likely look quite different than that which was adopted by Council on the 17th of May. Next slide, please. So just in closing, the latest round of changes, they do not yet have an affordable housing target, and no definitions for affordable and attainable housing have yet to be provided. So it would be good to provide some additional clarity on the document in terms of how housing affordability will be addressed. And once a decision on the report is rendered by council, it would be submitted to the province prior to commenting deadline as Durham Region's formal response to the proposals. Staff will keep committee and council apprised when Bill 97 receives royal assent and when the new PPS is finalized and any other changes that may be forthcoming. So that concludes my presentation, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Gary. Questions? Councillor Pickles.
Thank you. Never sure whether I need to press the button again, but anyway, getting used to it. Thank you for your presentation. Just a couple questions. So one where you were talking about MZOs in your slide. The next line after that spoke to ministerial development agreements. So I'm assuming that if the government puts out an MZO, then at the same time they would enter into a more detailed development agreement with the developer. What is the role of the municipality in that? Are they they're involved in the negotiations, hopefully, or discussions, or planning? Are they a signatory to it? Are they a party to the agreement? Are they responsible for its implementation? Can you speak to that?
I'm not aware, through the chair, I'm not aware whether or not the municipalities is a signatory to the agreement. I understand the regulation to be an agreement entered into between the province and the development proponent. I understand that as a matter of practice that the province would seek advice or assurance that the area municipality has been consulted through its various processes. But in terms of the mechanics of whether it's a signatory, I'm not able to answer based on the material in front of me.
You spoke to, I'm not sure if it's the right word, but the province eliminating employment and population targets and intensification targets and density targets for, I'll say, downtown areas. But that the province could introduce policies. Do you know whether those policies would speak to intensification and certain densities outside of the main transportation areas?
Right. Through the chair, the policies would still speak to intensification, but specific targets would not be enshrined within a provincial plan. They'd be determined locally, which could have different approaches, methodologies, depending on whatever approach the area municipalities may decide to take.
So those, so those policies wouldn't necessarily be a provincial across-the-board standard, that the municipalities themselves would set those?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Pickles. Mayor Wadden?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to you, Gary. Just, I think towards the end, you spoke about the Envision Durham process and the push by the province to have our official plan submitted and everything and so on and so forth. And yet they are creating these different policies and plans, Bill 97 and 23 and so on. Should those be approved, what does that look like for an approved official plan that's been approved by the province when they're basically changing all the rules that we've worked to establish in the last 3 or 4 years through the official plan? How will that impact that plan? Or do you have any idea how that will?
Thank you. And through the chair, that is an excellent question, and it really, I think, depends on timing and the lens that the province chooses to take when it renders a decision on the plan itself. And if it's choosing the lens of conformity to the current PPS and growth plan, it could look one way, and if it's choosing the new provincial policies, it could be something quite different. So we'll be in discussions with the province in terms of trying to understand what that lens might be, but it's early days that way, so that remains to be seen.
Thank you. I'm struggling with the fact that they wanted it quickly, and yet they are proposing all these changes that could impact it. And so it's hard to know whether they will approve it prior to these changes. And so,
I think the commissioner has something to add to that, perhaps.
thank you.
Thank you. Through just to add, I think what the province was looking for was to have this policy suite approved from Alton, Peel, York, Niagara, Waterloo, et cetera. And once the regional OPs are approved, then the area municipalities have them as a foundational document to work with. So, you know, the way going forward will be different, but at least for now, as the lower tiers start to bring their plans up to date, they've got a good, solid foundation to work with.
But we don't know when our plan will be approved.
No, we don't. We have some cues based on what we saw in other regions, so we have a sense, but really and truly, we don't. You know.
Thank you, Mr. Go ahead.
It's just been sent in, and the commissioner and I were talking earlier, was it 10 banker boxes of material supporting documentation because the province still requires them in hard copy. So whether anybody at the province reads them or not, who knows, but I'm sure it'll take a little while for them to decide on our decision.
Well, at least if they have it, we can refer them to it. Thank you. Thank you both.
Councillor Shade, did you want to speak? Because I accidentally took you. There you go. Thank you.
I have a few questions.
There you go. Go ahead.
Through you, Chair Chapman, there were a couple of things that I was reading. The 6 months period, further down? Okay, how about that? There was 6 months period for additional to returning the developmental charges. So this is a grace period that they have given after the 90 days or 60 days of municipalities for giving the permits to these developers. Is that what it is? I'm just trying to find a clarification.
Yes, thank you. And through the chair, this is a 6-month delay for the refund of planning application fees, so rezoning and site plan application fees that have been filed under the Planning Act. So it's not development charges or permit fees or those kinds of things. It's those Planning Act applications and specifically rezoning and site plan.
It was supposed to come into effect on the 1st of January. The 6-month delay is now it comes into effect on the 1st of July unless they do another delay. So that the process of how long the planning departments have to process all the applications, what is it, 60 days?
It varies for site
Yeah.
plan.
Comes into effect the 1st of July. It was originally in the legislation going to be the 1st of this year, but that's where the 6-month delay comes in.
Oh, that's good. Okay, thank you so much. My next question is to further what Councillor Pickle had said in terms of province deciding on these agreements with developers. Is it only for MZOs or everything?
Through the chair, it's for lands that are subject to a process under the Provincial Land Development Facilitator, so ostensibly through MZO processes, which is where they would be part of that process. It's not everything, no.
Not everything. So call me rookie here or something. I'm just trying to find out how many MZOs do we really see, or MZO is a new thing?
Well, through the chair, I have not done a tally in terms of how many MZOs we do have. We have seen more of them, certainly, and I think we can expect more in the coming years. But they tend to be project and site specific in order to implement a certain development on a certain parcel of land. So generally in response to a development proposal. In terms of how many MZOs we have in the region, I would have to
see.
come back.
Thank you. Through you, Chair Chapman, just a couple of more questions. When an application gets through, let's say it's an MZO, and we've done a few, hypothetically, do municipalities be a hindrance that they want to take over from us, or is just more control over everything?
Through the chair, the MZO process signals a provincial interest in a certain development, if I could sort of put it that way. And that provincial interest is something that has escalated over the last number of years in terms of the locations and areas of development where the province has taken an interest. It is that particular zoning tool is independent of an area municipal zoning tool, which can run on all other lands where the MZO doesn't apply. It is simply a signal of a provincial interest is probably the best way to put it.
Thank you so much. Further, and last question perhaps is, we've done Envision Durham. We made sure it was in the timelines of what the province wanted. We did whatever we could with extensive consultation and so many other things. Now comes Bill 97. So would it be another layer and we can gel it together, or it would be, oh my God, now we have to fix a few things in Envision Durham?
Through the chair, and sort of in keeping with the previous response and really in relation to the PPS, it's really up to the province in terms of the lens it chooses to take and the timing it chooses to execute its decision, and whether or not the PPS awaits that, or whether or not there's appropriate transition provisions that sort of balance the two. It's really the subject of further conversations with the province.
I see. I guess we are just in the hands of the province.
That's
It
correct.
is what it is. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's not a lot more for us to do. The province is going to come back either agreeing with all our package or telling us what is going to change based on, as Gary said, whether they're using the old or the new policy statements and all that. And then it floats really down to the lower tier as they sort their official plans out based on whatever the province then approves as the regional official plan. So we're in their hands to wait for it, yeah. Yeah, who knows? Councillor Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to try not to be critical, but for a government who was trying to eliminate red tape, I feel like there's more and more of this that people have to wade through. It doesn't feel like that they're accomplishing what they were trying to do, in my humble opinion. I'm not the smartest person in the room, but it seems like every time something gets done, something else gets thrown at us, and everybody's scrambling trying to figure it out. I mean, MZOs, for instance,
Do you have a question? This is
I
questions.
do
Yeah,
have a
okay.
question, if that's okay. I was
Yeah,
starting out with a
Please
rant.
get to the question.
I'll get to the question. MZO. So initially, we had submitted an MZO. Now they're saying it has to be CHIA. Where does CHIA fit into any of this? And exactly the MZO now, what is the new authority that they have?
Through the chair, I think there might be a couple of questions there to unpack, I suppose. But in terms of the CHIA, as I understand it, if we're talking about a specific development application, the CHIA provides an ability to enter into an agreement with the proponent in order to execute certain pieces of that development, and that is part of that, and that's the Community Infrastructure and Housing Accelerator, where it is a municipal request to use this tool and provide for expedited zoning approvals in order to activate a development on a specific site.
Under CHIA,
That's correct.
which used to be the way MZOs used to work, correct?
They are independent of an MZO, so either can occur, but a CHIA, again, it's isolated to specific site, initiated and requested by the municipality, and has some more specificity associated with it in order to accelerate a specific development on a parcel. In terms of the MZO question, there are some elements in terms of authorities that I think what we raised in our comments is the province is looking to scope certain authorities as it relates to what an MZO needs to have regard to under the PPS. We're not entirely sure what that is referring to necessarily, so we've requested clarification on that front. But to your original question, yes, there is a lot of moving pieces in all of this and a lot to understand and report on it in a way that we can provide for thoughtful and meaningful comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No more questions? Then thanks, Gary. Did we connect with Lori?
Oh, we can try again.
Okay. Yeah, Lori, are you there? Okay. Okay.
I am here.
Perfect.
Are you able to
We can
hear me?
you now. Great. Welcome.
Ah, hallelujah.
Go
My
ahead.
apologies for the technical issues. Thanks for having me. Really pleased to be here today at PDC to present some of the highlights of the Durham Region 2023 Ontario Parasport Games. As many of you know, in November 2021, Regional Council endorsed Sport Durham's bid to host the games for a second time. They supported cash and in-kind contributions from the region valued at $106,000 to really help us build on the momentum and legacy of hosting the award-winning games in 2019. So in 2022, we formed a 24-member organizing committee together with the support of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport, another 45 subcommittee members and staff from a number of regional departments. And we set out to host another amazing set of games. And I really think we did. And many have said we did. We also, in the lead up to the games, started to implement some very impactful legacy initiatives and partnerships, which doesn't always happen before a set of games. Sometimes it's after. So from February 3rd to the 5th, over 200 Games Weekend volunteers, regional staff, and venue staff welcomed over 400 participants, as well as hundreds of spectators from across the province. And we're so grateful for the amazing Games volunteers, all of the many regional staff from different departments, nearly 60 partners, including our local area municipalities, venue staff, and the community at large for their commitment, again, to helping us host another memorable set of games. As I mentioned, legacy leading up to the games are going to continue to have long-lasting legacies. We're going to continue to grow awareness and support for accessibility and inclusion and increase parasport opportunities and participation in our community. So thank you to PDC and to Regional Council for supporting the games again. We do look forward to sharing a final report in the months ahead, together with information about our future legacy plans. And now I'd like to play our game celebration video, which really captures the spirit and the excitement of the games, all the way from arrival at the 5 hotels to the opening ceremony at Ability Center, the 11 different sport competitions and the 4 demo sports, and then medal ceremonies at the 9 different venues across the region. So we can go ahead and play the video. Thank you.
Track 1. Track 2. Track 3. Let's go. Track 1. Yo. Track 2. Track 3. Yo. Track 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Thank you.
Excellent. Questions, Councillor Shaid?
Thank you. Through you, Chair Chapman. It was definitely very heartwarming. Lori, thank you so much. Where are the games going next?
Thanks for the question through the chair. We're not sure. Actually, we haven't heard from the ministry yet who the next host will be. Excited to be able to maybe share some of our learnings with the future host. It won't be Durham, but yeah, we hope that they can host another amazing set of games for the athletes.
I'll be looking forward for us to have them again, for sure. And thank you so much for the staff who were involved in this. This was fantastic. That'll be all, Chair Chapman.
Thank you. Next is long-time listener, first-time caller, Councillor Wu.
Good morning, all, and thank you, Chair Chapman. I just wanted to give a shout out to Laurie for being the quarterback behind this. And not only are we looking at 2023, but I think, Laurie, you were involved in 2019. Great quarterback to have, and a pleasure to work with the co-chairs too. Don Terry, don't want to forget mentioning Don, Michael Frogley, and a wonderful group that were part of the games organizing committee. So I want to give a shout out to those that participated, volunteers, and certainly to our team at the region of Durham for all that we did to make this a pair of amazing games and being the Roar. So again, thank you. I did want to give a shout out, Laurie. You are a great quarterback.
Thank you, Councillor.
Councillor
thank you.
Wu.
Thank you, Councillor Wu. That's it then, Laurie. Thank you very much. And we look forward to whenever the information on the report, when it comes, to see that side of the success of these games. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Next, we have a delegation. I assume it's online because he's not here. Rob Alexander, President of Durham Farm Fresh Marketing Association. Very local food in Durham region, Durham Farm Fresh Marketing Association annual update and Ontario Local Food Week. So do we have you there, Rob? There we go. Good morning, Rob. Okay, we can't hear you.
So you've hit your request to speak. If you can just hit the microphone button just to the right, it should go gray. The request to speak button should be green at the moment. And then your camera should be on and it should be red, and then the microphone should be just to the right of that, and it needs to be, sorry, the camera should be gray and the microphone is red. So just hit the microphone button.
No, we're still not hearing you. No.
Did you unplug the microphones from your computer? Did you want to try leaving and joining back in quickly?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Go ahead, Rob. Welcome.
Thanks for your patience. Sorry about the little technical glitch there. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Local Food Week. As Chair Chapman mentioned, my name is Rob Alexander. I'm the board chair of the Durham Farm Fresh Marketing Association. It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to you this morning about the work of our organization and the importance of supporting local food in our community. 2023 marks our 30th year as a not-for-profit. You may not know that Durham Farm Fresh was one of the first local food marketing groups established in Ontario. Founded by a group of forward-thinking farmers, this grassroots organization was formed with the understanding that we are far better to work together than as competitors in the local food space. Following Durham's example, other regions have formed similar groups such as York Farm Fresh, Kawartha Choice, and Oxford Fresh. For the last 3 decades, Durham Farm Fresh has continued to bring on new member farms, promote locally grown and processed food, and rolled out a number of innovative marketing programs, including our annual local food brochure, wayfinding signage throughout the region, and Gates Open, our annual consumer outreach event. We host networking and educational events to bring our members together and provide valuable industry insights. Though our programming changes to adapt to new consumer preferences and communication tools, we remain focused on our mandate to improve the awareness and economics of the farm-to-table food system in Durham. I want to take a moment to share my thoughts on the official plan that was recently adopted by Council. First, I want to congratulate all involved and thank everyone who contributed, delegated, and engaged in the consultation process. I believe that much of what pertains to agriculture in the plan is supported by our industry. The recent Envision Durham process did highlight several important features of our local food system. Agriculture is Durham's #1 goods producing industry. There are more than 1,300 farms operating in the region, with approximately 285 farms engaged in some form of direct-to-consumer sales. Agriculture generates over $350 million in gross farm receipts, and the whole agri-food system is one of the top industries employing residents in Durham. Strikingly, the same process also points to some industry-wide challenges that are chipping away at our region's ability to produce food. One, the average age of a farmer in Durham has increased from 54 to 59 since 2006. The total area of farmland in Durham has decreased by 20% in the same period. And while total farm output has grown, the number of individual farms continues to fall. Taken together, these realities demonstrate that there is tremendous pressure on our agricultural system to produce more with less, and that farmers are retiring faster than new farmers are entering the workforce. Securing our ability to produce food locally has grown beyond just encouraging consumers to support local farms. Farmers are making increasingly difficult choices about whether to hire locally or seek offshore labor to fill labor gaps. They choose to either farm into their 80s or sell the property to a developer. They may have to choose between scaling up to an industrial size to maximize and prioritize profitability, or stay small and connected to the land. Of course, the single biggest challenge facing our industry in the region is the price of land, driven sky high by developers, speculators, and investors who are cashing in on our finite resource. Local Food Week is an important opportunity for this group and others to seriously consider how policy decisions can have an effect on our agricultural system. Durham Farm Fresh is a willing partner to meet these challenges. We've pushed for further collaboration between organizations that share similar values and goals, such as Durham Farm Connections, the Durham Agricultural Advisory Committee, and Farm Fresh Ontario. Earlier this year, Durham Farm Fresh and Durham Farm Connections submitted a joint proposal to the Provincial Rural Economic Development Fund to hire a full-time coordinator. This new position would help us deliver more programming, make use of shared resources, and foster further collaboration within the Durham Ag community. The Durham Agricultural Advisory Committee is also in the process of updating its terms of reference to include a seat for a Farm Fresh representative. This will ensure that the voice of direct-to-consumer farm marketing is heard on a continuous basis. In closing, I want to personally thank the region and its staff for its continued support and reaffirm my commitment to Durham Farm Fresh as chair and to the broader local food movement. As a young farmer myself, making every effort to establish my own farm business, it remains my passion to ensure that agriculture in Durham grows, thrives, and attracts innovative new businesses and operators to this exciting and rewarding industry. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions? Seeing none? Great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Take care.
So we move on to 7.2, the reports. There are 4. Can I have a mover on the 4? Moved by Councillor Shaid, seconded by Mayor Watton. Any pulls? All in favor? Opposed? They are carried. Next is economic development. There are 3 reports. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Shaid, seconder. Chair Henry. Any pulls? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? They are carried. Advisory Committee resolutions. There are 2. 2? 9.1? 3. Sorry, there's 3. Yes, 9.2, 9.1A, 9.2 A and B. Moved by Councillor Shaid, seconded. Councillor Pickles. 9.2, fine. 9.2A, okay. Any others? Then on the remainder, all in favor? Opposed, that's carried. So 9.2A, City of Pickering backyard chickens. Go ahead. Councillor Pickles?
Yeah, I'd just like to note that at our Planning and Development Committee last night, that committee adopted the staff recommendation, which was to not proceed with a pilot. So I just thought that'd be helpful information to the committee.
Thank you. Anybody else? Then on that report, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. There's no confidential matters. Any other business? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Councillor Shaid, seconded by Councillor Pickles. All in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Thank you very much. Next meeting is September the 5th.